Hey everyone, in this video we are going to build our main character. And my character's name is going to be Blocky. And I'll explain why he's going to be Blocky in a minute, but before we get started, we need to make sure that we have our maze on our stage, okay? So you've taken care of importing a maze, it's on our stage. You go over here and click on backdrops. Notice I renamed mine to Maze 1 because I may want to have another maze. I'm not sure yet. So when you have that and you're ready to start, over here where it says New Sprite, click on the little paintbrush that says Paint New Sprite. And by default, this will take you into bitmap mode, all right? So over here in the bottom right, notice it says bitmap mode, and we want to convert it to vector mode, all right? So if you click on that button, now we are in vector mode, and we get some other tools that show up over here. So the biggest difference between bitmap and vector is that when you draw in bitmap mode, I'm going to convert back to bitmap mode and just show you this. When I draw a shape in bitmap mode, like a circle, I'm just going to make an ellipse here, and I let go, everything looks good. I'm going to zoom in. Over here I have my little magnifying glasses. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see. So it looks real good right now. When I click out of it, notice the edges get really jaggedy. All right, and that's because bitmap mode is built off of pixels, and pixels are square. So you're never going to get really good resolution, or there's always going to be issues with quality. All right, it's also very difficult once I've drawn this shape to move it anywhere else. So with these tools, if I click on my hand tool here, my select tool, notice I'm not even selecting the shape anymore. I can only select parts of it. So it's really hard once you've drawn something to move it around and reposition. So the opposite of that in vector mode, let me just clear this. Now I'm going to switch back to vector, convert to vector mode. Notice I have these other tools, and I'm going to go back to 100%. Now here I'm going to draw a circle. And what you'll notice is when I let go, and I click out of it, and I zoom back in, notice my edges stay really, really precise and smooth. And that's because in vector mode, it's not drawing pixels. The computer is actually generating a drawing based off of a formula or code. All right, so it's basically resolution independent. So no matter how much I zoom in or out, it's always going to look great. The other great thing about vector mode is if I go to my select tool up here and I select this shape, it's editable, right? So I have these handles, so I can move it around the whole shape. I can select the edge, I can make it bigger, smaller. So even after I've drawn it, I still have a lot of editing features available. All right, so go into vector mode. I'm going to clear everything. And what I want to do is just draw a square. All right, I'm going to go to my rectangle tool here. Make sure in the bottom left corner here that it's set to fill and not a stroke, or it's just going to do an outline. And then choose a color. I'm going to just choose my color as, I'm just going to make them red. And I'm going to click and drag a rectangle. Now if I hold down the shift key, it actually constrains it to be a perfect square. If I let go of the shift key, notice I can make it anything. I want to hold that shift key down. That makes it a perfect square, and then I'm just going to let go. So if you notice, you get a preview of your shape on the stage over here. And what you want to try to do is resize it so that it fits right within your maze. All right, so if you click on it again, make sure you have the select tool. Click on it again, and you grab one of those handles. I'm just going to hold the shift key down. I'm going to make it a little smaller. All right, and let me try to make it a little smaller. What you can do is, over on the stage over here, you can actually click on your sprite and move it around here. And I just want to make sure it's going to fit. All right, so that looks pretty good about that size right there. All right, it's not going to get stuck anywhere. And so I'm going to actually make him just a little bit, just a tiny bit smaller. I don't want there to be any problems. That's good. All right. Let's see how that works. That looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit bigger. Alright, so there's my Blocky. That's his main body. And the next thing I want to do is just make a little mouth. And for that one, I'm just going to use my pencil tool, but you can use a line tool or something, and I'm going to pick a little darker color. Remember, your colors can be anything you want. Maybe I'll do a little yellow here. Alright, and just make him have a little happy face, smiley face. Okay. And then finally, I'm going to make two big eyes. Alright, I'm going to make those blue. And I'm just going to use my rectangle tool again. Now I do want you to make eyes for your character. Alright, and I'll explain why in a minute. So there's one eye. Alright, so if you're having trouble because he's kind of small on here, you can actually zoom in. And by zooming in with the magnifying glass, it's not changing the actual size, it's just changing the view. Alright, now I have one eye right here. If I want to duplicate this, I could try and draw it again, but there's a really easy way to fix that. I'm going to go right here to this duplicate button, and now whatever I click on, if I'm going to click on this shape, it makes a copy of it, and I can move it right over into position. Alright, it's looking good. Alright, so I got my Blocky. Now, we are going to make 3 more copies of this because we are going to make Blocky animate, meaning when I move a different direction, I'm going to get a different view of Blocky. Alright, but right now this is going to be the same for each direction. What I'm going to change are the eyeballs. So what I want you to do is go up here and right click on this costume. And actually, but while we're here, instead of being costume 1, let's call this Blocky. Oops. I'm just going to call him Blocky for right now. Alright, if you right click on there, or if you don't have a right click, hold down control click on this, so you get this little menu, and you're going to duplicate it. Alright, and it's got Blocky 2. And we're going to do that 2 more times so that you have 4 Blockies up here. Now, each one of these Blockies is going to represent a different direction because he can only go in 4 different directions. So let's start with the top one, and this is going to be Blockies when he's going up. So I'm going to put a dash and I'm going to write up, hit return, and notice this is now called, this costume is Blocky up. Now I'm going to go and draw some eyeballs. I'm going to make them black eyeballs. Alright. I'm going to make them kind of big so you can see them. If you look over on your stage, you can kind of get an idea what it's going to look like. But I want to kind of make my eyeballs pretty big because I want people to see them. And just position it. Just like so. Alright, and now I'm going to go to my duplicate tool here, click on that eyeball, make a copy, bring it right up over here. So that's Blocky going up. Let's do this one and have it be Blocky down. So rename it, Blocky down, hit return. Alright, now let us draw some down eyeballs. There's one. I'm going to hit my duplicate. Move that over. Now I got my Blocky down. Alright. Next one. Let's go to number 3 here. I'm going to call this one Blocky right. And I'm going to make his eyeballs like they're looking to the right. There's one. Do my duplicate tool. There's 2. Okay. Finally, the last one. Blocky left. Oops. Left. Excellent. And finally, I'm just going to put my little eyeballs looking here to the left. Oops, I'm actually just going to duplicate this one so my eyeballs look exactly the same. Alright, so it looks like I have my character ready to go. The next thing we're going to do is get Blocky moving. Alright, so we'll do that in our next video.